All right, gang. I'm really excited to share with you guys this. I have been involved in the real estate owned or REO world for my whole real estate career. They have taken a back seat since about 2013. Texas, I don't know if any of you were hugely involved with the market back in 2007 when it crashed. It might have been a little different here. So I was in Florida at the time. So our market crashed in 07. Real estate foreclosures and short sales really showed up in 09 and 10 when I actually started real estate. Now, Texas didn't get hit as hard as Florida. Florida was the #2 state to have the most distressed properties. Nevada, Las Vegas was #1. California got hit. Florida got hit. I know that Georgia got hit, and there's one other state, I think New York also got hit, and those are the main ones. Everyone had some type of REO. I know Dallas was pretty prominent. Austin really never saw that hit. Houston, I hear mixed reviews around the market crash. They have projected that 2023, 2024, that foreclosures, short sales are going to be prominent again. Everything keeps shifting. The war showing up was unexpected, and that plays a market. And so it could come sooner, it could come later. I had felt like it was shifting, and not only myself, but experts that have been involved with REOs had felt it shifting right before COVID happened, and then COVID happened, and you guys all know what happened with that. And they put the stop on foreclosures, and so that what didn't help, and then the forbearances showed up. And now everybody is getting off of their forbearance loans. And that's really what's causing this question of, are we going to see a lot more short sales? Are we going to see a lot more of the REO world because of the fact that a lot of people took the forbearance because it was just offered to them, even if financially they didn't need it. And then they started spending their money elsewhere. And now they owe this money back and they don't have it. And that's the biggest question that we have. Is there any relief? Are they going to be able to refi or restructure their loan? I will say Elizabeth in our office is actually targeting not the REO side, but more of the distressed pre-foreclosure side. So that's the short sale conversation. She gets people before they hit that stage, and that's how she's getting a lot of her listings. She is very open to sharing and allowing you to shadow her on that. So if that's something y'all are interested in after we talk about today, feel free to call her. She's open to letting you involved in that. This is though specifically how to list REO property, which is after they've gone to the bank. So once they have not chosen the short sale, someone put them in foreclosure, they possibly went to auction or maybe didn't, and now they're selling on the open market, and we as agents get to list them. So it's not letting, there we go. So what is an REO? It stands for real estate owned. It's either owned by the bank. You may or may not know that HOAs can own real estate. They can put you in foreclosure. And also the state has foreclosures. So the state of Texas can take properties as well. and they will then resell them to get them off. None of these people want to be in the real estate ownership business. They are in the money business. So they want the money that comes from the house. And so once they get a property, they don't want to hold it for long because then they have the expenses that go along with owning real estate. They have to keep the property up kept as well, because then their asset depreciates. So they don't want it to sit long vacant. Who you will be involved with dealing with asset managers. So within these banks, there's people that are in charge of the houses, which is, they're called asset managers. Hedge funds are also different types of banks portfolios that do become the owners of the real estate itself. So within hedge funds, within banks, you are going to be dealing with the asset managers. You need to keep them happy. They are your best friend. You want to make sure that you're always communicating with them. You want to build relationships with these people. These are who you're going to seek out to allow you to actually be listing agents. There's the ones that choose you. So if you, let's say, had Bank of America, who is your for the bank that has the foreclosure, you're not dealing with, in quote unquote, Bank of America, you're dealing with the asset manager. And so it's a relationship business, just like anything else. And so building that relationship, now they have, since the old days of 2010, put in systems and regulations around wooing these asset managers, because I will tell you, I personally knew some of the biggest REO agents in Florida, and they would take them to private dinners and sporting events and send them tickets and gifts, and that was how they kept them happy. Well, they've put drew the line of that type of thing. Can you send them a little gift card here and there? Absolutely. But this is not a go spend thousands of dollars to get these listings. They aren't allowing that anymore. So it's kind of good news because you don't have to woo them like that. But at the same time, they're harder to get involved with because it's not as easy as going and inviting them to a fancy dinner or inviting them to a sporting event. So you do have to make a lot of phone calls. You have to send a lot of emails. You have to possibly show up to some of the events that they may be having locally or in another state. So it is involved. This isn't just like, oh, I sign up and I get an REO listing. You do have to be involved with this. I'm going to be honest, I put this out here because it is something that I have been working on for 2-3 years, and yet family wise, I'm not in the position to go and travel like that. And so if some of you are, then that's what's going to be powerful for you on getting involved with this, is being more readily available to make those type of moves. And that's why I'm putting this out here for you guys, because I have the knowledge and the information for you to be able to sign up for this. I just may not be the right person right now to put in the work. So I'm opening it up to you guys and offering it to y'all. What do you need though? So there are a few things you have to be prepared for. I am SFR designated, and that is, I think I didn't share my entire screen. I just shared the new share. Okay. I'm I'm going to show you guys on NAR, National Association of Realtors, there is a short sale and foreclosure resource designation. So it's SFR. I am designated myself. It's really easy to complete. It's $175 and the course is online, and it took me maybe 3 days to complete. You have to do an online application. They will allow you to complete the course once you pay the fee. And then once you're done, you are now designated. You do get a logo, you get to put the name on your stuff, you get marketing materials, you get a little more packages of information, but I'm going to be honest, it's not that well developed, but it gives you an understanding if you're not super familiar with the terminology of short sales and foreclosures yet, and the process of how to go about listing short sales and how it gets to foreclosures and what foreclosures expect of you. This is a good class for you to take just to have that knowledge. Again, it's on National Association of Realtors website, and it's $175. So it's really a small fee to be able to get that information. I do require, so you don't have to be a broker to list foreclosures. There is that misconception. You just have to be approved by the broker to do foreclosures, which is fine by me, but you do have to have your own E&O insurance. So on top of the brokerage E&O insurance, you would have to have your own E&O insurance. Now, because it would be tied to your production specifically, it does have to be 1 million in policy. But since you guys, the three of you, now some of you may be listening after the recording, but for you three, since you are newer in the business, it won't be that expensive for you, maybe $100 a month, if that, for the insurance. Your insurance is tied by your production level each year. So this year it shouldn't be expensive for you, but if you do go on to do foreclosures and a lot of business, then that's when your policy starts increasing in cost. That is not a negotiable. Like, that's a non-negotiable in my eyes. You have to have E&O insurance for yourself to be able to list these properties. You can, and they are going to make you in every single registration submit your policy. So I will not be sharing mine unless they ask for yours and the brokerages, but you have to have yours and prove that you have yours to me. This is who I use. There are others. But our brokerage, insurance is through Pearl Insurance. You can shop around. I have found that they're the most reliable and cost effective. But again, there's more. So you're welcome to shop around for insurance. Any questions around E&O insurance? Because that's really, really important.
No.
Perfect. Okay. So foreclosures are all about systems and processes. So I have listed foreclosures before, and I'm going to tell you that it's not worth the time unless you're doing bulk. So my team listed maybe 5 foreclosures total. Like we got in at the tail end. We got in with a small bank. Me and my business partner just happened to stumble on a relationship with an asset manager who liked us and offered for us to list the properties. We found that they make you pay to turn on the utilities yourself. They make you pay to clean out the properties. They make you upfront pay for things, and then they will pay you back. And sometimes it takes 30, 60 days to pay you back. So something that I should add to this is you probably need some reserves of money. Reserves. Because that is something they require you to put up front and then they pay you back. They're also all about timing. So if they call you today and say, we have a listing, we want it on tomorrow, you need to be ready to be able to have photography done, a sign put in, all the checklists, because they make you go out and take pictures of the property. They make you fill out a market analysis sheet. They make you do an inventory sheet. And then every week, if they're not under contract and not have other requirements, then you're doing weekly check-ins every single week. So you're not, if this is a one-man band, you're the one driving there. You're the one filling these out. You're the ones doing all this. And so they have deadlines. They're like, within 24 hours, you must submit this. And as soon as you screw up, they'll just move on to the next real estate agent. Like they care about time, and especially if this is your first few listings, you're proving yourself to them. And then if you start getting 3 listings and then 5 listings and then 15 listings, then they expect you really to be on the ball. And so the first thing you really need to do is make sure you have an understanding of how you would be able to list something that fast. I would say 24, 48 hours. You also need an understanding of the market statistics and of the areas that you're willing to work in, and know how to run really good CMAs, because these people are in other states. They don't know about the market. They're looking at you to tell them this is what the market will bear. And remember, they're all about money. So if, let's say, the house has got $300,000 worth of loans to get paid back and the house is only worth 200, you need to prove to them why it's only worth 200. And you need to be able to put it together in a very direct and accurate way, because these people, again, this is corporate. You're not working with a emotional home seller. You're working with a corporation, and they're all about facts, figures, and bottom line. So understanding really how to produce good market statistics, accurate CMAs, that's something you would be needing to practice over and over and over again. Just like a sport or an instrument or any type of craft like that, you practice every day. So if this is something you're wanting to do, you need to be practicing your CMAs every day, studying the market every day, nailing down your systems and processes. And that cash is important too. I mean, some banks will pay for it. I have found that most of them don't. So starting out, it's not like you're going to get 20 properties at one time. There's not enough foreclosures right now for that. So if you just have maybe $500 in reserves, that should be enough to start out with for them to pay you back with. But be ready that if maybe they give you 2 or 3, you would need more than that. Okay, so now the big question, how do we get the listing? So I have a little black book of asset managers and banks. And so can y'all see my screen that shows the REO Black Book?
Yes.
Awesome. So I'm going to send this out to you guys. If you are listening in, I will send it to you if you email me. I'm not going to post this for everybody because I want you to watch this class prior to being able to get access to the spreadsheet. So if you're watching this and you're interested in this, you must contact me directly for this spreadsheet, or else you're not going to get it. Obviously, if you're not listening, you won't know anyway. But for the 3 of you ladies, I will send this out to you once we're off. Make sure that you're not going to start this until you have E&O insurance. You know what? I'm going to actually do this. You don't get this until you have E&O insurance. So if you're interested in this, you have to get E&O insurance, prove to me that you have E&O insurance, and then you get this list. I will tell you, I'm registered with probably half of these. I haven't even been able to sit down and register to every single one. Some of them are call. So this is time consuming. Each single portal probably takes you 20 to 30 minutes to fill out. And so you got to just take a couple days or a week to fill out every single one. They are going to require you to have your E&O and policy to submit. So that's why I'm saying it doesn't even make sense for you to have this list until you have E&O insurance. So once you have that, then I will get you this list of registration portals. And there's so many opportunities. I mean, you can see there's over 100. So there's 107 links to get you signed up. Most people don't have access to this information, so it is something powerful. So if this is something you're seriously interested in, you can definitely talk to me after the class if you want more information. But E&O insurance is an absolute must. Like, I'm going to keep pounding that in because they will require it for validity, and that just protects the brokerage as well. These portals, some of them do cost money. You don't have to register with all of them, but like one of them, pyramid platform. So let me pull up that list again. So if you notice, here, this one's on pyramid platform. This one's on pyramid platform. This one's on pyramid platform. This one's on pyramid. This one's on pyramid. Like, there's a lot of companies that use the same portal, the big ones. And so when you sign up with one, all of these companies have access to you through this portal, and they look for people in certain areas. They look for people with past history. You don't have to have experience to win a listing, but it does probably make you need to call these asset managers and try to talk to them personally more than someone who has listed foreclosures or has done BPOs before. And so don't get discouraged that you haven't had a listing before, but it does mean that you have to follow up more regularly than maybe someone like myself that has history of doing this. The pyramid does cost money. With all that said, pyramid does cost money. So I think it cost me like $200 for the year. But there's like 12 banks associated to pyramid platform. So for me, it felt right to go ahead and spend the money on it. You don't have to register with the ones that cost money, but again, the big players are the ones that use that platform. So it probably behooves you of doing it if you have the money to do so. This is an investment. This isn't a I'll get a listing tomorrow. I told you I've been doing this for 2 years. COVID made this extend to where we couldn't do REO listings. So I started this 2 years ago, and I've had to re-input a lot of it, because after a year they make you update your E&O insurance, because that, just like any other insurance, it updates every year. So I've had to take the time. My insurance updates every April. So I'm about to hit another year of where I have to go through all of these and re-update them all. So know that I'm doing the same thing you guys would be doing. So if you have questions, that's what I'm here for. But it is time consuming. It is a commitment. It's not a quick, I'm going to get a listing tomorrow type thing. But if you do call and do follow up and do the work, you will get a listing once they start having foreclosures coming more regularly, which in the REO world, we have found some of the experts seeing. I'm on a mastermind call every Monday with some of the top REO players, and they're seeing about a 20% increase in REOs right now, although 40 to 50% of those REOs are getting sold at auction first, but that leaves another 40 to 50% or 60 to 50% available to list on the open market. So they are coming. I've noticed more REOs popping up in our area in general. And so it's honestly on me for not being as aggressive with these to get the listings, but it is starting to show up. And so if this is something you're interested in, you would need to hit it full force. On all the back end systems, when you register, it's going to ask you what areas you work. You need to basically think, again, if you get a listing or a phone call any day, like if it's get a listing and then tomorrow we want it listed, but even if you have a listing and a pipe bursts or a vendor needs to be let in, you need to be able to drive there that day. So now that doesn't mean that maybe you are capable of finding someone either in the office or outside the office to work for you as like what we call a runner. If you're gonna get big into REOs, you're eventually gonna have to have people under you for support, like a virtual assistant, some runners to help you go to the houses. You're going to need that because you can't do it all yourself, especially if you have more than 5 listings. But understand that if you live, let's say I'm going to call out all of you actually live in like extreme areas to Houston. So Serena's way up north. So Serena, you're not going to be able to get to Katy every day super fast. It's just not going to happen. And vice versa, Ashley and Brittany, you're not going to get to Willis, Huntsville, where Serena is every day. So you're going to have to really look at what's my driving capability, because we know in Houston 5 miles can take 30 minutes sometimes. And so really be aware of what that will look like for you. And it could be that, okay, well, if I do all of Houston, and let's say myself, all 4 of you are gonna, or 4 of you, me and the 3 of you are doing REO listings as a focus. And let's say Brittany puts in that I do all of Montgomery and Harris, and you get a listing up in Willis, then maybe you pass it off to Serena and vice versa. You don't necessarily want to fully limit yourself from not being able to do those areas, but be ready to refer it to an agent that can help you. If it's one of our approved agents, then they can list it themselves. If it's not one of our approved, then you would just have to pay them for their time to help you with viewing the property, running the stats, things like that. Obviously, they have to agree to it too. So just really think about that when you are inputting this, because again, if you're not quick to respond, they will fire you. So don't try to be greedy up front and say you do all of the greater Houston if you're literally not capable of driving, stopping there at a day or two notice, or really a day notice, and go get there yourself. You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot right at the beginning. Any questions about the area piece of it? Because that really, I see that happen a lot where you're going to say, I do all of Houston, but you don't have that network and capability ready right at the beginning. And it will cause you to just not be able to do REOs anymore if you mess up at the beginning. No? Okay. This is it. Like, follow up, follow up, follow up. If they say we're not currently needing anyone in your area, try again in 90 days. Put it on your list to resubmit in 90 days. If there are phone calls or emails, because there's no online registration, then make sure that you're calling, you're following up, you're sending letters, you're doing everything you can. They like tenacity. So the one thing about this, remember, it's not quote unquote emotional for them. It's money, it's systems, it's processes. So if they see the agent that continuously follows up to get the business, that's actually going to be a good thing to them. Whereas with most sellers, your mindset may be, I don't want to bother them. I'm talking to them too much. I'm calling them too much. That's not the same in the business world. They want to see tenacity. They want to see someone who knows how to follow up and put in specific timelines and effort to get the listing. So for the ones that are call and email, put them in your database, set weekly reminders to follow up with them and actually do it. Or you're just wasting your time. Like, to go in here, get E&O insurance just to submit your portal and do nothing with it after that. Honestly, it's a waste of your time and money. So only the people who are serious about doing this at a high level should actually be the ones to move forward with this. Just a note, like this one is Wells Fargo. It says you need to have a referral from a local Wells Fargo mortgage consultant. You can email this if you don't have one. So either you can go, if you, like, I bank with Wells Fargo and I happen to have a lady that I go to consistently if I need anything. And so she would be who I would contact first, because obviously if you have a relationship with someone, that's always going to be better than just having a cold conversation. But if you don't have a Wells Fargo account, if you don't have that person, then you can definitely email and start that way. Don't let not knowing be your blocking point. If you're got the tenacity, you know how to follow up, then it can be successful for you. But follow up, follow up, follow up. Like, that's what you have to do to get this business. And then once you're in, you have to have the systems to maintain it. But then once you have a proven track record, it's easier to get referred to the other people once you've sold 1, 2, 3 listings. Then the asset managers are going to refer you, and you can put those on your quote unquote resumes. And it is actually recommended, and I forgot to add this too. I'll add it to my, what do we need? I did have to build an REO resume. So what does that entail? I will send you guys out mine. I wonder if I think it's on my other computer. Resume. I should have forgot honestly about that. Oh, here we go. Oh. So I can send mine out. I haven't updated mine. Again, this was from last year. I need to update mine to show all the BPOs that I'm doing, that I've done, what platforms I'm on, who my clients are. I have a lot more clients than that now. I work with probably 5 or 6 different BPOs. And you can literally copy this and just put in your own information. Really, you can just leave current clients. You may have none at the beginning, but everything else you can just kind of tweak to yourself. But I'll share this as well so you guys can copy this. That some of them will want a quote unquote resume. As you can tell, it's nothing major. Okay, what questions do y'all have?
I don't have any.
Brittany, Serena, any questions?
Have any questions?
No. Pretty straightforward then.
Yeah.
Is anyone actually gonna do it? Is my question.
I mean, I want to, it's just a lot of money up front, so I would have to wait until I could afford it, you know?
Yeah. Definitely, I mean, it's an investment and it's time too. And I mean, you could do the ones that don't cost money and see if you get anything from it. But then, yeah, once you get the listing, you're still gonna have that money involved. And again, I don't have a list of which ones fully make you pay. But I know that over time they have moved mainly to the agent paying, even like to rekey the property and stuff. I had to pay for that up front, and then I billed them to pay me back. All right, well, that was it. I have Thursday, we're gonna go over, if you haven't taken with me how to write a contract 1 to 4, then that is what I'm training on Thursday. I am doing that one in person just because I do like the interaction with the contracts face to face. So if that is something you're needing, that will be here in the office at 9:30.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.